Were you taught to pedal? I think many of us were taught too little about pedaling and a bit too late. Sure, we muddled through and we got there and we learned how to use it in the end, but there has to be a better way, right? In this video, I'll teach you exactly how I teach pedaling to my students, and I'll let you in on a secret that it took me about 6 years of teaching to realize, but once I did, it changed everything about how I teach pedaling. We're going to go through 3 different exercises first to give you some basic things you can do with your students. These exercises are pedaling the scales, scaling the chords, and 4-chord patterns. So pedaling the scales is about playing a scale while pedaling. The first thing you're going to do is just demonstrate it to your students. So I suggest just one hand to begin with, and you're going to play the note and then do legato pedaling to the next note. So the idea here is that they lift the pedal and put it straight back down again after they've played the next note. And I emphasize the after, but we'll go through that in a second. So we play C, pedal is down. I play D, the pedal now goes up, down in one movement. Up, down. So I'm exaggerating that for effect, but that's the basic exercise. You're trying to get it so that we don't even hear the overlap, but they are making it legato. Then once they're used to that, they can do it with one finger to really test that they're doing the pedaling correctly and that it still sounds like a scale. So you do it like this. So that's not a lesson we want our students to learn for the long term, but it does just test their understanding of when they're pedaling and how they're using it to create a legato sort of effect. Now the next one would be the chord version, which is the same thing. So scaling the chords. So we go up, one hand or both hands, doesn't matter. And I'm just using the chords from the C scale or the key of C, not doing major chords. So it's going to be, again, I'm playing the chord, then up, down. That's how I teach students. Up, down. Once they're used to that, you can apply this to some more fun types of things like a 4-chord pattern. But I wouldn't go on to that until your student was comfortable with the other two, unless they're at an older level and older age, and then it might be good to do that sooner. Before I give you my top tips that it took me so long to learn about pedaling, hit the thumbs up below to let me know that you want to see more content like this. Okay, so I've kind of said these tips in passing, but here's what they are. The first thing that I didn't understand how to teach students was to pedal after the note. I approached legato pedaling as the student gets closer and closer in this direction. So the foot is happening before the hand, and they're going to get closer and eventually they'll happen at almost the same time. But it's much easier if you think hand, then foot, and then the foot can get earlier and earlier. So it's just flipping it on its head, but I've found way more success with getting students to play the next note with their hand and then do the motion with their foot. So I literally say to the student, hand, foot, until they get this, and then they start to naturally move it back. I don't even have to do a lot of teaching on that. The other tip is the up, down. So that's how I've learned to say it to students, is instead of saying clear the pedal or pedal, as a lot of us would say, I've learned to say up, down. And I say it dramatically as one word, and I show them with my hand. It's this, up, down. I show them with my hand, not just because I can show you on camera, but because it's easier to see than to see my foot. So I show them both for sure, but when I'm describing the up, down, I say this is what my foot is doing. Up, down. It's just that, it's that quick. And obviously it's not going to be that snappy and it's not going to go all the way up and all the way down, but we'll get that with time. The main thing is to get the speed of that. If they don't think of it as one motion, up, down, one word, not two, not up, then down. If they're thinking about it as two separate steps, there just isn't time and it tends to muddle things up. So it's an up-down motion, and then the other tip is you pedal after the note and gradually move it back, not you pedal as close to the note as possible, which tends to be before, and then try to move it forward. That way doesn't work. I hope these tips have been useful for you. Please do let me know in the comments if you were taught pedaling in some great way or you found a great method for teaching your students. I'd love to hear your thoughts.